Pages panel is located up at the top part of your panel bin. And you're going to click on that, and this is what the Pages panel looks like. And when you're looking at the Pages panel, you'll notice that there's kind of two sections to it. You have this top section, and then you have this bottom section right here. In your top section, you have what are called master pages. And as you can see right here, it says A Master. They're pages that are kind of like a template that you apply to individual pages. And then down below you have these little thumbnails, and these are the actual pages within your document. And as you can see, this one, number 1, is highlighted, and that's the page that we're on right now. And up here in the top it says A, and as you can see when you hover over it, it says Master Page A applied. That means this master right here has been applied to this page, and whatever's on this master page is showing up on this particular page. Now, if we go down and we click on these, that will automatically take your active window to that page. And this is how you can navigate easily from one page to the next in InDesign. But the Pages panel isn't just for navigation. You can also add, delete, or move around pages in your Pages panel. For example, let's say that we have 2 more pages that we want to add to this tabloid newspaper, and we want to insert them between 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Well, in order to do that, we can come up here to this downward facing arrow with the little lines next to it. Click on that. That's your panels option. And when you go into this, it's going to give you additional options for that particular panel that you have. And in the Pages panel, your additional options includes inserting pages, moving pages, duplicating pages, deleting pages, etc. All of those options are right here in this panel. So let's go ahead and insert pages. And when you click on that, you're going to get a dialog box. And here in the insert pages, you can specify how many pages you want to set up. Well, for us, we want to set up 2 pages because we have this 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. And if we want 2 more facing pages to be set up right here, we want 2 pages. Then you have the option to go after page, before page, at the start of the document, or at the end of the document. You can insert into any of those places. Well, obviously, if we're on page 3 and we want it in between 3 and 4, we want to go after page. And then next, you can specify which master page you want. And right now, I have this A master. And when I go ahead and apply A master to these particular pages, you're going to see what it does. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And now you see that InDesign went ahead and inserted 2 new blank pages right in between 2 and 3 and what was 4 and 5, and renumbered 4 and 5, 6 and 7. And if you zoom in, you'll see that it says Cascadian Weekly right there. And then you come down here that you've got a tagline that says News from Nowhere. And if you zoom back out to 75%, you can look and see that those 2 headers and footers appear on pretty much every single page of this document, except for page 8. You don't see that header and footer there. Well, the reason you don't see that header and footer there is because the header and the footer were located on your master page, and a master page isn't an actual page which exists in your InDesign document. It's not going to print out a single page that just has a header and footer on it unless you were to leave 4 or 5, which has nothing but what was on the master page, if you were to print those out the way they are right now, because they don't have any content. But if you go back down to page 8, you actually have the option to apply a master page to this page right now. What you do is you go ahead and you grab your A master, and on this A master you can see that you have 2 different pages. You have the left and the right page together, and you can grab this page and come down here and drag it on top of your page 8 and let it go. And now you see that header and that footer just popped up on top of your page 8. And when you hover over page 8, you now see that your A master has been applied to that page. So now I want to go ahead and delete these pages. So how I do that is I go back up, and I'm going to go and take my selection tool first. This is called your selection tool. And I want to go back to my little panel options right here, and I'm going to click on that. And now instead of insert pages, I'm going to come down to delete page. I'm going to click on that, and as you see, it just deleted the page that I had, which was page 4. But 5's still there because it only deletes one page at a time, and then it moves everything back one page to fill the space. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab page 4, which was 5 a second ago, and do the same thing. And now we deleted those 2 pages that we inserted a minute ago. Now, one of the other things that you have the ability to do in InDesign is you have the ability to move pages around. Now, let's say that I have this set up right here, and I have my classifieds on this page 5. Let's go ahead and click on page 5. And I have this other page with the weekly horoscope on it on page 4. But what I really like is to move the classifieds up to page 4 and to move the horoscope over to page 5. Well, with the pages, I can do this pretty easily. All I have to do is once again go back up to your options and go to Move Pages. And then I'm going to say Move Page 5 and move it to after page. I could say move it to after page 3, or I could do the same thing by saying move to before page 4. Both of them are going to put them in the same position. And then go ahead and say OK. Now we just popped down here, but if you go back up to page 4, you'll see that your classifieds is now on your left side and your horoscopes is now on your right, which is the way that we wanted them. Now, another way that you can delete or insert pages in your InDesign spread quickly and easily is you can actually go here to these little buttons. And here you have the option to create a new page by just pressing that button, and it'll just create a new page automatically after whatever page you're on. Now, I don't like that page maybe, so I can go right next to it to the trash can and go ahead and delete that page we just inserted. Also, if you want to go back up to your options and come down here, you will notice that you will have this checkbox next to allow document pages to shuffle and another check next to allow selected spread to shuffle. And you can turn these off if you want them to, but I like to keep them check marked because if I allow my document pages to shuffle, what I can actually do is I can go up here and I can grab my second page and I can just click on it, and then you get the hand there, and then I can drag down here until I get that bar and let go. And as you see, I just move that right here in the Pages panel without having to go up into the option menu. Now, we talked about master pages earlier in this lesson, but it's going to be important that you actually know how to create master pages. And one of the ways that you can do that is you can go back up here to your options panel, and remember they had a new master right there. Go ahead and click on that, and it's going to say new master page. And under that, you get this dialog box, and you have a prefix and a name. It's going to, instead of calling it A master, it's going to call it B master. And you can change these if you want, but I usually just go ahead and leave them the same. And you can base your master on a previous one. You can either have it blank, which is none, or you can have it based on the A master that you already have. I'm going to leave it for none. And you can make the master either 2 pages if you want 2 facing pages like that, or you could make it a single master if you just want something for like a section break or something like that. And then you have the ability to select your page size down there. So when you've got your settings the way you want, go ahead and hit OK. And it gives you this blank document. And then if you go ahead and let's just really quickly just add in just some random typing. Well, now you have under B master this master document that you can apply anywhere you want. And let's go down to say page 6. And let's grab the B master. And once again, when you click on it and you drag, you're going to get your hand with a little page on it. And that tells you that you've got that page selected and you're dragging it. And go down to page 6 and drop it right there. And now you see up in the corner it says B master applied. And if you come down here and double click on that, you can now see that on your page 6 you have that A wolf applied right on the page. One other thing that you can do in the Pages panel is that you can come down to the button Edit Page Size. And from this button you can easily change the page size of your current page. You just come down here and pick a different page size, and it will automatically change it on that page in InDesign. Now, one of the limitations of doing it this way is that although it'll change the page size for that page, it's not going to change the page size of the elements on that page. And InDesign has a new feature in some of the newer versions of InDesign that will allow you to deal with this. And that feature is called Liquid Layout. And how you set your document up for Liquid Layout is you're going to go up to your Window menu. And underneath Window, you're going to go ahead and you're going to come down to Interactive, and then go to this flyout menu and choose Liquid Layout. And then you're going to get a little dialog box. It's actually a panel. And let's dock this over here for now. And then we'll click it right there. And you need to come up here to your page tool. And go ahead to your page tool and click on that tool. And you get this bounding box around your page. And now you have your options available to you in your Liquid Layout panel bin. And if you come down here, you can change how you want to do your liquid layout. You're going to use whichever one works the best for you. And for right now, we're going to go ahead and go with scale. And when you come over here on this bounding box, you'll see when you hover over a corner, it says drag to preview liquid layout behaviors or alt drag to change the page dimensions. So let's go ahead and drag. And this is how liquid layout's going to change the look of the page if you use the scale version. And if you let go right now, it goes back to the way it was because we were doing a preview. Next, let's go up to your control panel. This is where you see the properties for the page. And right now it says that it's a tabloid size. But if we want to go ahead and change it to letter, we can just go ahead and change it to letter right there. And that's going to automatically change this to a letter size and scale the page at the same time. That's one thing that we can do with liquid layout. You can also change the orientation to landscape. And now you can see that it's scaled it and made it landscape. Or you can go back to portrait. You can go ahead and put tabloid on there. And if you want to do it by hand and make a custom size, you can go ahead and do the alt drag and then watch your width and height right up here in your control panel, because that will tell you how big the new page is. Another option that you have is to create an alternative layout. And you can do this a couple of different ways. You could go to your Pages panel and you can either go up here to your Options panel, or the easier way, you can go right here to the name. You have Tabloid H. Go and click on that and go to Create Alternate Layout. And that will bring up your Create Alternate Layout window. And this is going to suggest a name for you, and it's going to suggest a source page. And for this exercise, I'm going to go ahead and instead of doing a tabloid, I'm going to do a A5 layout. And instead of doing scale, let's change it to recenter, because down here this is your liquid page rules. This is how it's going to change your layout. So let's go ahead and hit OK. When you do that, it's going to create your alternative layout, and you're going to see that alternative layout over here. So the next thing I want to do is I want to add some page numbers to this layout. And the first thing that we want to do is we want to go back up to our page panel, and we want to go to our master pages and double click on your master pages. What I want to do is I want to actually go over to the type tool, and I'm going to click on the type tool, and then I'm going to go to the spot where I want my page number located. And I want to be right next to that Cascadian Weekly title. So I'm going to click on that right next to it, and that's where I want my numbering to start. And now that I have that set up there, you're going to have to go up to your type menu and then come down to Insert Special Character, go to Markers, and then Current Page Number. And when I click on Current Page Number, it's going to tell me that I am an A because I'm on the master page. But if I let go and go back up to my selection tool, and then I come down here to my page 1 and double click on it, you will see that it now says Cascadian Weekly page 2. So one last thing to mention before we leave this lesson, and that's if you don't like how your numbering looks, like for instance, if we come up here and we look at our numbers and we think to ourselves, you know, I don't really like the way that 2 is looking. I'd like something different. You actually have the ability to change the options for your section numbering and your chapter numbering. And to do that, all you have to do is make sure you have the selection tool on and come over here to your options and go to numbering and section options. Click on that and you're going to get your numbering and section options dialog box. And in here you can make decisions about how things look. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just change the style of the numbers from this 1, 2, 3, 4 over to Roman numerals. And I'm going to do that, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit OK. And when I do that, you can see that now they're being numbered in Roman numerals.